So tomorrow's test, the first half of it is multiple choice. Okay. Now it's not your regular A, B, C, D multiple choice. There's an E option, and I know that's going to confuse some of you, and that's why I want you guys to pay attention right now. So if we look at this first one, by the way, on the multiple choice, I do want you to show your work if there's work necessary to show. So we have this quadratic trinomial, and whenever we factor quadratic trinomials with the a value of 1, you simply think what times what is the c value that if I combine together is the b value, which happens to be -1. Make sense? This is the easiest type of factoring there is. All you have to do is think what times what is -6, the c value, that if I combine together is -1. So what do you guys say? What times what is -6 that if you add together is -1? -3 and +2, and it's very important that we use the signs, the correct signs. Now let's say you were thrown off about that. Let's say you just don't see it right off the bat. Go ahead and make a list of the multiples of -6. So go -1 times 6, -2 times 3, and that's it. That's all the possibilities besides changing the signs. And then you think, if I add -1 and 6 together, I'll get 5, and the b value is not 5, so that did not work. If I add -2 and 3 together, I get +1, and the b value is -1. So I have the right number, I just have the wrong signs. So the pair of numbers that I really want is not -2, but +2 and -3. So I don't want this above 1, I want this one. And that's what we plug in. We plug in the -3 right there and the 2 right there. So just because it's multiple choice, I wouldn't jump at the answers. I would factor it on my own, and then I would look for the correct answer on the multiple choice. And as you could see, what's the correct answer for this one? None of the above. Okay? Now, what does prime mean? Prime means that it's not factorable, right? Were we able to factor this one? Yes, absolutely. So it's definitely not prime. You are able to factor it. It's just the correct answer is not there. Here's the correct answer, x minus 3 times x plus 2. So C is not it. Has the wrong signs. So E is the correct answer. So on the multiple choice, there is going to be some answers that are E, none of the above. So please do the work slowly, carefully, get your answer, and then look for your answer. Let's try another similar one right here. X squared plus 7x minus 6. Let's factor that. So when the a value is 1, you just set this up. It's the easiest type of factoring. X right there, x right there. And then we want to think, what times what is -6 that if you combine together is +7? What do you guys say the answer is? A, B, C, D, E? Prime. Okay, it is prime. You cannot factor this. If you start thinking again of the multiples of -6, okay, -1 times 6 and -2 times 3. That's all there is. That's the only way to get -6. Now, if this were +6, then it would be +1 times +6 and +2 times +3. But right here it's -6, so this is the only way of getting -6 besides changing signs. And if I combine -1 and 6, I'll get 5. The b value is not 5. If I combine these guys, I get 1. The b value is not 1, so neither of them worked. That means it's not factorable. That means prime is the correct answer. So some of them will be prime. Some of them, the answer will not be shown. You'll have to pick E. How about this guy down here? What's the answer there? How the heck do you do this?
A.
Am I supposed to go A times C? No. What's the first type of factoring we should always try?
GCF.
GCF. So of course we could pull out a GCF. 2. What's going to be left on the inside if I pull out a 2? X squared minus 5x minus 6. And then some people are going to be like, oh, the answer's right there. It's A. If you look at the inside, it's not a perfect square term, not a perfect square. I mean, you can't do the square root. But what else could we do? We have a standard form quadratic trinomial that we could continue to factor. So let's continue factoring. Put an x here and an x there. What times what is negative 6? That if I combine together is negative 5.
Negative 6 equals 3 and
Negative. Okay.
No, negative, no. Wait.
Okay, so we won't get confused.
Six and, yeah.
Let's make a list. Negative 1 times 6 or negative 2 times 3. If I combine negative 1 and 6, do I get a negative 5? No, I get a positive 5. So I have the right numbers. We're just going to change the sign to a positive 1 and a negative 6. And that goes right here, positive 1, negative 6. And of course, the 2 comes down. So which one's the correct answer? C is the correct answer. So don't think, oh, half of the test is multiple choice. It's going to be easy. No, you gotta really think about this. You got to be able to do it on your own, get your answer, and find your answer. Sometimes the answer is not there, but that doesn't mean that it's prime. If it's not there, you just say that the answer is not there, none of the above. If you cannot factor it, that's when you say it's prime. And that's it. That was a little review just for the first half of the test, the multiple choice portion.